today we're going to be doing something really fun with our herbs. So it's springtime, and in the springtime, our bodies start waking up and it's time to start rejuvenating ourselves again. And this is where tonic herbs can come into play. So there are a couple of different types of tonics, and this is according to Michael Tierra, a famous herbalist, but the first type is a nutritive type of tonic, one that nourishes the body deeply and that you can just take every day, sort of like a multivitamin. The other kind of a tonic herb actually goes to work to stimulate an organ to do its job better, okay? So the kind of tonic we're going to focus on today is the nutritional type of tonic herb, and we're actually going to be making an herbal multivitamin. So that's to the topic of today's quick little lesson. We're going to be working with herbal powders today. Normally I don't work with powders. I prefer using the whole plant herb like what's in this oil and infusing like in a tincture or an herbal tea, or like in this case the oil. But powders can be really helpful too. Most people, when you think of an herbal powder, you think of capsules, you know, and honestly, capsules are like, I've got some capsules in here because occasionally I will take these. These are double zero capsules in. They're quite large. You know, some people might want to just ingest those because it's quick and convenient, but the problem is you have to take a lot of them usually for them to be effective. So what we're going to be doing with our powders here is we're going to be making pastilles, which are little herbal candies. And I'm going to talk about these different herbs in just a moment. I want to just say also with powders, another way you can get your multivitamin nutrients, which includes your vitamins and your minerals, is by making herbal teas. And herbal teas are amazing. I just want to show you what I just finished. Really excited about this. This is the big book of herbal teas. So I've been practicing herbalism for a very, very, very long time, and I have literally hundreds of herbal tea recipes. This is not even all of them. There are over 132 at this point in here, and I'm probably going to be adding some more, but right now, this book is about 220 pages long. It's definitely a great guide to herbal teas, and it's going to be going into my complete guide to herbal teas, the art and science of herbal teas course, and that's going to be updated really soon. It's a course I've actually had for a long, long time. I think I launched that course about 5-6 years ago, and it's done, you know, it's a good course. It's really good as it is, but one of my assistants was going through all of my areas out there between YouTube and my website, all my courses. I've got literally I've got almost 100 courses right now, if you include all of my herbal master classes. So there's a ton, and they all have recipes and remedies, but she gathered them all together, and that's what made me think, you know, I ought to just put them all into a book. So that's what we did. Anyhow, let's get started on this herbal multivitamin. So there are some herbs. This is my spice grinder, by the way. I just got through using it. There are some herbs that are really wonderful common tonics in the springtime, and most of them you can forage actually. So dandelion leaf is one, nettles are another one. You can go get cleavers, you can go get plantain. In some places starts popping up in the spring, and then there's burdock, and there's violets are really helpful. Violets are very, very high in calcium, the leaves. But we're going to work with these dried herbs here that I have because I'm in North Idaho, and it has not started to get warm enough for things to come up too much yet. We don't even have dandelions here yet. So let's go ahead and talk about what we've got here. We've got some dandelion. And so I took and I powdered a bit of it here. So I've got a little heaping bit of dandelion powder. I've got nettle leaf powder, very, very green and lovely. Nettle leaf, I really love nettle leaf. I love the dandelion too. And by the way, dandelion tastes amazing. It just is such a tasty plant that I don't care whether it's the leaves, the roots, the flowers, it's just a really good plant. Nettle tastes very green. So it's one of your saltier tasting herbs, and it's not like tasting like a bunch of salt. But usually when you have really mineral rich herbs like this nettle leaf, you're going to have that salty flavor. So it's very tasty that way as well, but it does have a green taste. Here we've got burdock root. And I feel like burdock root has kind of a sweet flavor, but it's got some really nice fiber in it. Inulin's one of the fibers. Our body doesn't digest it, but the good bacteria in our microbiome does. And I'll actually link up here to a video I did last fall or something on burdock root, and I can actually show you how it comes out in a tincture in that video. It's pretty interesting. But burdock root is full of nutritious compounds. It's very liver supportive. And by the way, so is dandelion root. Both of these are excellent liver detoxifiers and really helpful for the body, especially in early spring. Here we have plantain. Plantain is full of wonderful compounds for the body. You've got mucilage. In addition to that, you've got all the nutrition, all of the nutritives. These very, very green edible herbs are full of vitamins, full of nutrition. And here we've got some powdered ginger. So what I did, I never buy herbal powders, I'll just say. I always buy the whole plant herb because I want to see what it looks like. At this point in my herbal career, I can tell if it's quality or not, and I will not use something if it's low quality. So I always get the whole plant. And then if I want to use powder, I powder it up, and I've got a dedicated spice grinder for my herbs that I use. And I decided I would just pre-powder it because that noise is obnoxious, and I didn't want to have you deal with that. So one of the things that we can do here is we can just take a little scoop or two. This is a tablespoon, and I'm going to go grab a tablespoon of my dandelion. Does not have to be exact. Actually 2 tablespoons. We're going to take a couple of tablespoons of the nettle. Just go ahead and dump that whole thing in there. And then we've got the burdock root. All right, I might as well dump that too. Okay, and these little pinch pots, I think is what they're called. They're really great for using small measurements. So these are all about 2 tablespoons. I overdid it with the dandelion, and that's okay because I'll be drinking that up or putting it in foods. And then I've got my ginger. Ginger is very anti-inflammatory. It's got some wonderful health compounds for us, and it tastes good. So that's why it's in this blend. So let me go ahead and scoop my jars out of the way here. And so I've got all my powdered herbs in this bowl, and I'm going to go ahead and just stir them up. I've got the fork over here in my honey, which is what I'm going to use to make these pastilles, okay? But we're just going to get these herbs stirred up really well. Isn't this wonderful? You know, the thing about herbalism that I just love is it's not hard. It's so easy to make things up like this, and you know, really this part of the process is super easy. The hard part about learning herbalism is learning about the plants and learning about the phytochemistry, learning about how they interact with each individual's body, and not all bodies are the same. I heard an herbalist who's got a medical background one time say that you only needed to know anatomy and physiology. You didn't need to know anything else. And I want to just counter that and say, you need to know both. You need to know the anatomy and the physiology. But if you're going to be a holistic herbalist, you also need to know how everybody's different body reacts to different things, because my body is not going to act like my friend's body. It's just not. She's got different, you know, indications, and she's got a different energetic constitution. So it all makes a big difference. And most doctors, they want to just give you the same thing for everybody. It doesn't work like that. Not in herbalism anyway. And I know you guys have heard me before. I get going on the medical thing, and you know, and it's just because I've been failed so many times, and I'm like an herbalist. So I'm an unapologetic herbalist. Alrighty, so now what you're going to do is you're just going to drop a little bit of honey in here, and you're going to start stirring it up. Now what you want is you want to get this to be a paste that's kind of like a really stiff dough. Okay, so that's what you're going for here, and it takes a few minutes. Now, I want to mention another thing here, and that is essential oils. So essential oils, I don't recommend you use them internally at all, but you know, they are used for food flavorings and things like this, and I am trained in internal use. So I debated whether I should add essential oils to this mixture with you guys today, and I'm going to say no, because I don't recommend this. However, with my students in the Confident Herbalist tribe, or in my, basically mainly my tribe, which is more advanced herbalism, we sometimes will get into different kinds of formulations that are more advanced. And so that's, I'm not going to share super advanced things here on YouTube. By the way, YouTube is not a good place to learn herbalism. I've seen some pretty wild things, herbally speaking, here on YouTube. So you definitely, you can learn from me, but you definitely want to be sure that the person who you're learning from has training behind them and isn't just reading a couple of books and sharing things. So I'm going to add a little bit more honey. I have seen some extremely dangerous things, and a couple of them have made me gasp, like literally out loud, like, oh my goodness. So please be careful. Do your due diligence. Vet your sources, number one, and number two, do further research on any herb or essential oil that you want to use. Even these very, very safe herbs, like we're talking about right here, they can have contraindications for some people, especially the ones that will affect the kidneys greatly. If you have any kind of kidney or liver issue, you must be super careful with the herbs that you choose. And even like the safe ones may not be indicated for you. So always do your research. I heard another lady, homestead lady, talk about alfalfa one time, and basically said it's very, very safe. And I was kind of taken aback because, first of all, alfalfa is a food source for animals. It's a livestock food. And, you know, we used to give it to our horses here and there during the winter time because it's hot. It warms them up. It's very highly nutritious. So that part was very accurate. But the thing is that if you don't know about the herbs, then you don't know that alfalfa is not indicated. It's contraindicated for people who have autoimmune disorders or issues like lupus or others. It can really aggravate some of those kinds of conditions. So you just need to be sure that you know for your body what you're taking and how it might interact with things. All right, so we're getting to that stiff dough part here, which is nice. Okay. I want to just say another little thing about the herbal powders that I don't like is that when you powder the herbs up, you get something called herb dust. And it's a thing. It actually can get into your lungs and be very irritating. So some people will wear masks. I'm not really a mask person, but you know, if I have to, I will sometimes. All right, now my hands are clean, and obviously this is just for my husband and myself. But what you want to do now is take a little blob of the dough. And again, it should be like a little firm paste. And I'm going to just see if it'll roll into a ball. If it does not roll into a ball quite yet, then I'm going to have to add a little more honey. And it looks like it's perfect. It's just holding together very nicely. And this is probably a little too big. So you want to always roll your pastilles into little balls that are about 1/4 inch to maybe a little bit bigger. And that's it. And then you just put it on a little plate. And once you get all your little balls made up, you can go ahead and put them in the fridge. I always put them into a jar, and I like to layer them. And then you can put a piece of parchment paper in between your layers, and that keeps them nice. And then, you know what? Just eat a few of these every day. Honestly, with your powdered herbs, you know what? I don't bother capsulating herbs hardly ever. Maybe for clients once in a while. But my goodness, if you have to take like 5 to 15 capsules every day or 3 times a day. That's a lot. That's a lot. And many people will not do that. Compliance is definitely one of the things that you want to be thinking about when you are practicing your herbalism. And I always have a tendency to make my balls too big. And so I'm going to try to make them a little bit smaller here. I think it's because I get impatient with the whole rolling balls thing. Like when I have to make cookies with, where you have to roll them into balls, my cookies are way too big too, which some people like. But my husband definitely likes big cookies. But let's go ahead and I'm just going to make a couple more of these, and I'm going to put the right sized ones on one side, and I'm going to put the ones that are too big on the other side, and then you can see the difference. Now, when you first start rolling your little balls, these are actually called electuaries as well. They're little herbal pastilles or herbal candies, lots of different variations of these. You can actually, another thing you can do is roll these into a very delicious powder at the end. So if I had peppermint powder sitting here, which I have some ginger powder left over, you could just roll them in the powder, and that will also help them keep from sticking to each other. And now they look like that. They look like those little powdered donuts that you don't want to buy in the store ever. Please don't eat those. Oh my goodness. But anyway, but you can make all kinds of different flavored powders with your herbs. You can powder spearmint, peppermint, cinnamon. You could do, like I just did, ginger. You can do cocoa. You can make these so fun. And then when you are making your herbal vitamins, your kids will love these. They're really helpful for kids. And these are so much better than those nasty little sugary red dye colored vitamins in the store, aren't they? These are so much better. All right, so here we go. I'm going to just show you a few of these, and then I'm going to keep going because otherwise I'm just going to babble on through this whole thing. So here you go. These are too big, okay? And that's okay because I'm going to eat them up anyway. And these are all about the right size. And these are the ones that are coated with the powder. If you're going to use peppermint powder, it's going to be greenish, which is perfect for St. Patrick's Day, which is coming right up. And these are uncoated, and they're fine. They're not that sticky. And also, as they dry in the air, they'll become a little less sticky as well. So anyhow, I'm going to continue rolling my little pastilles up, and I'm going to get these put in the fridge, and my husband and I will enjoy these herbal multivitamins for the next probably week or so. All right, this is Heidi Villegas. I'm with Healing Harvest Homestead and the School of Botanical Arts and Sciences. I hope you'll come take a course with us. We're going to be launching the 10th group. I can't even believe that. The 10th group of students is going to be coming through the second week in April. And so enrollment starts the first week in April. I'm super excited. In honor of that, I'm actually going to be doing some live chats here on YouTube for anybody who wants to come talk about herbs with me and ask questions about herbs and essential oils and just kind of have some herbal fun. And so look in my community for that. There's a community tab. You can check and see the schedule and what's coming up next. All right, I'm going to sign off. Oh, please, let me just say, I'd love to have you pick up my guide, Herbs and Oils, How to Relax Using Herbs and Oils. This is an amazing guide. It's 24 pages long, but it's got a lot of great information about relaxation response in the body, plus recipes and remedies that you can start using right away. Another one you can get is my Herbal Remedies Guide for Animals. There are 5 proven recipes in there that are pretty broad-based, so you can use them with the different animals. And my guide to herbal steams. If you suffer from any kind of upper respiratory or lower respiratory issue, steaming is amazing. And then my Herbal Remedy Guide and Cheat Sheet is another one. So I've got a number of different free items. I'll put links in the description. I will also pin 1 or 2 of them in the first comment for you. Okay, so I'm going to sign off. And I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Please like, subscribe, and please share this. And I will talk with you soon. Bye-bye.